Every piece of music tells its own little internal story. So what I want to be able to do is have my little music story somehow match up with the game story or with the story that's being told by the visuals.
It's a different kind of story than I think you usually encounter in video games. Usually it's a story of a hero who gets stronger and stronger and ultimately defeats this much more powerful foe.
The really hard thing about the story is there's so many different ways to tell a story. There's so many different good stories. Telling a story in a game is different than telling a story in a book, because a huge part of the story of a game is just leaning flavor to the times when you're playing it, so that when you're driving around a Warthog with the Marine hanging out the side door and the guy in the back with a chain gun, that you believe that you're on this, you know, alien artifact called Halo circling a gas giant light years away from Earth, and that it's context. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Don't expect a big welcome. Covenant wiped most of them out before they hit the ground.
Well, our characters have flaws. They're not perfect heroes. And really, Halo's story is one about salvation. It's a story of warriors with not a lot of options who have their backs up against the wall and ultimately are trying to set themselves free.
Yeah, I don't know if we're crazy or stupid or we just like good stories or what, but we certainly worry about that a lot more than you might think we'd have to in a game that's mostly just about action and about not thinking.
This process began with the end of Halo and realizing all the stuff that we had left out.
This is it, baby. Hold me.
Wow, what did we really want to tell and didn't have time to, and distilling a couple of those core ideas.
The entire fleet is engaged, Cortana, with respect. What the hell sort of reinforcement have you got?
Jason locked himself in a room for a while and organized his core ideas, and then came to me and said, hey, you know, these are my thoughts about a story for Halo 2. What do you think? And approached other people as well.
It's not about making it complex, and it's not about playing movies for 2 hours between every 5 minutes of gameplay, but the more you can allow somebody to believe instead of whatever, sitting in their living room at 2 in the morning trying to, finish some stupid video game.
There was this scene which will go down in the untold lore of Bungie, which Miranda strapped a bomb to the Master Chief's back and shoved him down a hole. And it was this horrible scene of betrayal, and Jason was going through a rather difficult breakup at the time. I think that might have had something to do with it.
In Halo 1, there was maybe 30 seconds of fun that happened over and over and over and over again. So if you can get 30 seconds of fun, you can pretty much stretch that out to be an entire game. Encountering a bunch of guys, melee attacking one of them before they were aware, throwing a grenade into a group of other guys, and then cleaning up the stragglers before they could surround you. And so you can have all the great graphics and all the different characters and lots of different weapons with amazing effects, but if you don't nail that 30 seconds, you're not going to have a great game.
The really important thing to do now is to take all these different disciplines who are all working on their own things, and take all those pieces, take the AI code and the physics and the guys working on the levels, and then you keep doing that. You keep colliding things together until it's a game.
Animation is what brings our whole game to life nowadays. What we are doing now for animation is so much more in-depth. We're bringing so much more character to each one of the entities in our game. You have to realize that the character is going to run around that environment, look at it all over the place, up and down.
We always want to try to put a bit of ourselves in the character. It's at least what I'm trying to do with the Brood as well.
What do? I make guns. And so when you get another one of these, you get that butt and use it like a pistol, and you'll be able to have one in both hands, right? So you walk around with these two bullet hoses.
I draw aliens for a living. The storyline, from what we've read and what Joe and Jason have come up with, is really involving, and there's a lot of twists in there, and I can't wait to see all the work that we've done, put it in the game and play it at the end of the game. It's gonna be awesome.
We really want it to feel like that there was history there. There's damage that existed from some battle that happened 900,000 years ago.
The biggest challenge is packing in all the detail we want so that every time you look at the screen of your Xbox, you say, wow, that's beautiful.
I guess we're sort of feeding off each other, so it's a really creative group of people that trust each other.
We are the most cynical people. Like, we are the jaded crowd who, if a game doesn't entertain us in 5 minutes, we stop playing it.
Take the player from the ruins of Halo to these ancient Forerunner facilities in the atmospheres of gas giants. It's sort of a galactic romp from one place to the next, and I think that in of itself is going to keep the player on the edge of his seat, wondering, where am I going to be, and what do I get to do when I get there?
Bet you can't stick it.
You're on.